Thank you. Give it up again for Marcin, the legend, for everything he does for all of us. It is a privilege to be back with all of you once again in this beautiful setting, and it is a sign of progress that we're all able to be here together once again. I certainly want to thank Marcin for always including me in this conference, for his continued friendship, and really just being the best ambassador for Belfast that I know. So thank you, Marcin, for being a great friend to me. I also want to acknowledge our wonderful Consul General from Ireland, Consul General Nolan. Thank you for being here. It's been great to get to know you. She does a great job on behalf of all Irish. You should know that. And I know they've been mentioned, but the reality is the work that we do with the State Pension Fund is only possible because we have great colleagues and great supporters in the state legislature. So I certainly want to once again acknowledge the presence of State Senator Tim Kennedy, is right here, front row. And I know Mike Cusick was mentioned. Did Mike make it here yet? You know, Mike, unfortunately, is not seeking re-election this year. He has done an outstanding job leading the Irish American State Legislators Association. He's going to be missed, but he's done an extraordinary job. But he's got Mike Fitzpatrick still running again, and he's going to carry on the great work. Assemblyman Fitzpatrick's here. And I think her Irish roots are as strong as mine. Assemblymember Amy Paulin is here, who's a great colleague to us. So give all of my colleagues in state government a round of applause, please. I really want to congratulate Lord Mayor Tina Black, and we are so honored that this is your first trip to America, and here you are in New York, and I already detected a New York accent in your speech. So you've already been, brought into the fold, as we say. But we had the chance, I had the chance to meet with the Lord Mayor and with John Walsh from the City Council and a delegation from Belfast a few minutes before we gathered in this room. And the enthusiasm and the dedication that you heard in the Lord Mayor's comments in front of all of us is certainly what I heard in the small gathering as well. You are off to an incredible start, and we really look forward to your tenure being a most successful one. And we hope you'll come back to New York again after this visit. Give Lord Mayor Tina Black another round of applause. So this conference certainly celebrates two great cities that have an enduring bond, linked in the past and linked in the present as well. This conference, of course, began as Marcin's brainchild, he and the team, and it has continued to be an important part of spotlighting and strengthening that bond that exists between our cities, and I think helps to build that sense of friendship, but also, more importantly, to help the lasting peace continue in Belfast and certainly in all of the north of Ireland. The discussions and presentations included in this year's conference make this another exciting and essential gathering, and I'm pleased to have a few moments to spend some time with all of you. It is a challenging time. We all know that, to say the least. COVID, what's happening internationally, the terrible situation in the Ukraine, but we have a new global economic reality, and one that presents challenges we weren't expecting. We're still dealing with the effects of a deadly global pandemic that created an economic and societal earthquake greater than any of us could have imagined. The good news is New York and Belfast have a long history of standing together and getting through challenging times. Our state government, I think as you all know, has had a long-standing interest in Northern Ireland, going back over 3 decades to our adoption of the Northern Ireland Investment Law, better known as the McBride Principles Law. My office continues to play a role in overseeing how that law is adhered to. It certainly, when you look historically, has had a significant effect on corporate America, on the British government, and most importantly, on the ground in Northern Ireland. As State Comptroller, as Marcin too kindly mentioned, I've been pleased to play a small role in being part of the continued economic and social progress that I know you are all very much committed to. I've had the privilege to visit the north of Ireland 3 times, in 2008, 2014, 2017, obviously a big part of each of those visits was spending time in Belfast. Every time I visited, I came away even more impressed. Each time I became more impressed with every visit. I met with leaders and the people of the North, not only people with titles, but people in the communities, thanks to Marcine's very effective networking on my behalf. I saw that energy and that drive to build a stronger community and a more vibrant and diversified economy. I saw an emerging market with a young, highly skilled workforce, excellent transportation and commercial infrastructure, and the kind of business-friendly environment that can foster economic growth. And that's why I'm confident that despite the challenges ahead, Northern Ireland has the human and physical attributes to sustain itself and flourish in the future. We have long recognized that cities are economic engines, in part because they bring talented people together, and that can lead to innovation across a wide range of industries, certainly our story here in New York City. Belfast also has capitalized on this insight, and that is certainly paying off. The new investments that Belfast is planning and that are underway in such areas as health and life sciences, digital and creative industries, and advanced manufacturing all show great promise going forward. The ambitious Belfast Region City deal is a great example of the kinds of partnership that we need right now. And the Innovation City Belfast Partnership, the Innovation District, will no doubt maximize the impact of the city deal with key investments in university research centers and digital innovation, establishing Belfast as a globally significant destination for innovation. In all, the Northern Ireland economy continues in a positive trajectory. In fact, I noted that earlier this month, the London-headquartered Office of National Statistics found that Northern Ireland's gross domestic product grew 1.4% in the third quarter of 2021, the strongest growth in the UK. And we also know that Northern Ireland has the lowest level of unemployment in the UK. You're standing out. How about a round of applause for yourselves for that? Now, there's no doubt that the North's economic success is linked to the Northern Ireland Protocol, which allows access to the EU and British markets and protects the region against the challenges of Brexit. It's clear that Belfast and Northern Ireland will continue to be an attractive place to invest. And certainly hearing the Lord Mayor's comments so eloquently stating that sense of optimism and commitment to fulfilling the promise that we know is there with Belfast gives me renewed optimism about your community as a good place to invest. And I'm very proud that the New York Common Retirement Fund that supports the pension benefits for 1.1 million New Yorkers has been part of that scene. We, of course, over many years have had millions of dollars invested across all of Ireland, north and south, but we've made a particular commitment to the north. Some of you know the story. I won't go into great detail, but I'll just tell you, early in my tenure as State Comptroller, I've got a call for an appointment. Two gentlemen wanted to come visit me in my New York City office, Martin McGuinness and Ian Paisley. I said, they want to come see me? They want to come together? And I actually have a picture that we took that day when they came to visit. And it really was a powerful statement about Northern Ireland turning a new page. For these two individuals, given their histories, to come and to say things are going to be different. And one way that you could help us keep it to be different would be to invest in what we're doing in the North, to ensure that the peace process will continue because there'll be economic opportunity across all communities, just as the Lord Mayor said a few moments ago. So I'm very, very pleased that in addition to our public equities that we've always had invested in public companies on the island, we have had a targeted strategy for investment through private equity funds that have to go to the north of Ireland. The value of those funds right now is about $62 million, so it's grown over the years from the first investment. During my tenure, and we actually had a small investment prior to my being controller, but during my tenure we've invested about $56.5 million in private equity commitments. We do that through our partner, 57 Stars. Bernie McGuire is here. Where's Bernie? There, stand up, like Marcine's making everybody stand up. So if you don't know him already, get his card before you leave because he's the guy. And I was glad to see Colin because we've had a great relationship and gotten good returns there. So this has been a tangible way that we have been, as we say, putting our money where our mouth is. So we still have about 15 million of those commitments that has not been fully deployed yet. But we're going to look for future opportunities as well. We've invested in emerging technology companies in healthcare, as well as more established companies in consumer services, business services, traditional manufacturing, seeking to grow in the North. And I'm proud to say that the New York State Common Retirement Fund continues to be one of the largest and most consistent sources of what we call patient capital in Northern Ireland. We will continue to look for additional investment opportunities in Belfast. And if I could say this, Lord Mayor, don't get mad at me. We're going to look for opportunities in Derry too. You know, Martin McGuinness is in my heart, and I can't forget Derry and some of the other population centers. But we know that Belfast is humming, so we know that there'll be opportunities there. This is what we call our double line investment strategy, where we're doing well for our pensioners, but we're doing something good as well. One common challenge for Belfast and New York is that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought existing inequities into sharper focus. I know you've experienced that. We certainly have experienced it here in New York. We've continued to put out reports about the effect of the pandemic, particularly on New York City's economic sectors and communities. One of the through lines of those reports was how the pandemic amplified existing disparities in communities of color, with Black and Hispanic residents of New York City suffering greater health impacts as well as greater economic impacts. We need to look at our current challenges as an opportunity in which we can rededicate ourselves to truly address those long-standing disparities. Prejudice and oppression is certainly something you've experienced in Northern Ireland as well. And in many ways, you've overcome it, and I think that's great news. We have to understand that social justice and economic progress are two sides of the same coin. We must recognize that we can do best when all are valued equally and can participate fully in our economies. As we continue to confront prolonged global economic challenges, it's in everyone's best interest to join in renewed commitment to removing obstacles to economic opportunity for all of our residents. Now more than ever, we must endeavor to chart a path to an inclusive recovery, ensuring equal justice and opportunity for all across our societies throughout our economies by investing in ways that break down barriers rather than building them up. I know that's a priority for the Belfast Region City deal, working with all levels of government and regional partners to foster inclusive economic growth that creates good jobs, a positive impact across the North, including in the most disadvantaged and challenged communities. That was certainly the message we heard from you, Lord Mayor, and it was great to hear your strong commitment to that. And in listening to you, I was also reminded of another wonderful person who Marcine introduced me to in my early visits to the North, another person who's lost and passed, but very much in my mind and my heart at events like this, Inez McCormick, who many of you knew was a leading trade unionist who always spoke to the need for all communities to benefit from economic investment. And that's why, working with our investment partners, we say, make sure all communities are going to benefit. No one will be left out by our investments. So certainly over the years, New York has stuck by you in Belfast and in Northern Ireland. And we want to do more to continue to work with you to keep the peace, to sustain it as we all move forward. We remain squarely in your corner. So many great strides have been made. And as the Lord Mayor was reminding me, you really have a generation now that's grown up through relative peace times. That's an incredible change and one to be celebrated and one for us all to acknowledge. We do have concern about moving forward with regard to the Northern Ireland Protocol. We read about some of the threats possibly to alter the protocol, which could undermine the Good Friday Agreement, potentially damage the North's economy, deter foreign direct investment. So we certainly hope that some of those political issues will be worked out in a positive way. But from my perspective, whatever happens, we're in this together through whatever may come. We're going to continue to build on our partnership. We're going to continue to do everything we can from our perspective with our pension fund to plant the seeds of investment in the economy of the future that will help support and sustain Belfast and all of Northern Ireland. The resilient people of Belfast have faced enormous challenges over the last how many decades and have met them bravely and resolutely, and I'm supremely confident that you will continue to do that. So rest assured, from my perspective, the bond between New York and Belfast is stronger than it ever was. Ours is an unbreakable partnership, a shared commitment to work together to fortify our economies and improve the lives of our citizens on both of our shores. Today, the ties that unite Ireland and the United States and New York City and Belfast have never been stronger, economically, ethnically, and socially. We will continue to strengthen that partnership for many years to come. I look forward to my next visit to Northern Ireland. So, Lord Mayor, you'll welcome me. Marcin has said, if I don't get reelected this year, I can't come back. But my view is that if I don't get reelected, I'll come as a tourist. I don't have to come as an elected official, right? But I look forward to coming back and being with all of you again in Belfast. Enjoy the rest of this wonderful conference. It's great to be with all of you. Thank you.